Hello, my name is Tom Russell-Mizange and I'm the Content Manager for HET, Healthcare Excellence Through Technology. And I'm joined today by Cleveland Henry, who's the Director of Cloud at UK Cloud Health. Welcome, Cleveland.
Hi.
So I think, first of all, we just kind of want to talk a little bit about your background and expertise. I think obviously a lot of people probably know you from your time at NHS Digital and now in your new role at UK Cloud Health, but it'd be kind of great just sort of perhaps as a little refresher for the folks at home, but who you are, where you're from and kind of like what you're doing now.
Yeah, so Cleveland Henry from Leeds. My history goes back quite a long way actually. So I started I'm a techie at heart, and I started my career back in 1990, working for what was then a small organisation delivering health technology to GP practices. That company, being staff member number 17, has since grown to the organisation we all know as EMIS Health. So that's where I started. Way back when, back then, that was a start-up back then. Having got my apprenticeship, if I can call it, my first 5-6 years in industry working with EMIS, I then left health and I stayed in technology, but moved around a few industries that included hospitality, so the Forte Hotel Group as it was back then, and then working with an SI, both SCC and IBM. And then went into a software organisation, Business Objects, as we know quite well. That then took me into banking, and I spent a significant part of the middle of my career in the banking sector. Really, it was an exciting time because it was through the period when banking was moving from traditional banking to telephone banking and digital banking as we know it now. And my speciality was fraud, so there's some fascinating things around fraud, including every time each one of us make a digital or online or a shop transaction, we've got to do a full test and allow you to spend or not within 3 seconds. So that real transformation of moving from traditional delivery into digital, it was exciting and a privilege to be part of. And then I came back to health, came back to EMIS, would you believe? In a almost like a bit of a turnaround recovery. They were going through some difficult times with their new product set, and I was asked to come in to bring some of my enterprise knowledge from the banking sector into EMIS. And from there, I moved into, after doing that, I moved across to NHS Digital. That was 6 years I stayed there, delivering a number of national programs and being involved in innovation. So, there's 20 plus years of technology industry through the ages, and that's sort of my background. And I've over these years now become a bit of an SME in health tech. So yeah, that's sort of me. Those years that have got me there. The NHS are now keen on moving to cloud first, and I think over the years, and it's taken some time, I think there's a real understanding of the opportunities that cloud first can bring. So is it prepared? I think it's mixed. I think some areas are, but the reality is, I think there's now a real clear understanding of what cloud can bring, and the big journey is how do we get there, and how do we then exploit the technology capabilities to enable to really deliver that cloud first. As it does in our everyday lives. We use cloud every day, from our use of phones to Netflix to whatever it may be. Cloud is now ubiquitous in the way we operate in our lives, and that's just not yet there in the NHS. But the tide is definitely swinging in the right way. When we talk about integration, it's about sharing of information and technology to ultimately in our space to improve patient care. And that's difficult if information systems or otherwise are locked in rooms, locked in data centers. So what cloud is a real catalyst and an enabler is actually that real clear integration. We talk about the connectivity and the availability of systems and data. That's not possible unless it's able to be accessed. And this is where the beauty of cloud comes with, or some of the benefits of cloud. It's absolutely essential. It's key. It's a key component.
No, of course, with all those benefits, I think one of the things that I often hear from CIOs or whoever it may be, where often there's a complaint about funding.
Yeah.
In general, not enough money. But of course, if you're moving from on-prem to cloud services, would you say that revenue model actually needs to change from being a kind of capital first, here you are, here's £100 million, go buy what you need to buy, to a revenue-based model where obviously, if you're maintaining, say, SaaS or class or what have you, that's actually where you need to move.
Absolutely. And if I always refer back to what we're doing in our everyday lives. So I used to have a great collection of music. Mm-hmm. First vinyl, to show my age, and then CDs. And now don't have it. I stream everything via Spotify.
iTunes, whatever.
I pay my $9.99 a month. Basically, music as a service, if you want to call it that. I no longer purchase the capital and have it in the corner of the room where it's either decreasing or increasing in value. And I think the same analogy works with on-prem to cloud. Individuals and organisations like myself and other organisations, we make the investment in the capital. We create the large data centres that are huge investments of capital, and that's our job. And therefore individuals should just be consuming those services. And that's where the revenue model has to change to allow organisations to actually move from this capital expenditure, to write it down over a period of time, to as a service. And I love my analogies, but another analogy I use, none of us have power stations in our garden. We switch the lights on, the electricity's there.
When you need it.
Absolutely. And that's the same model that needs to happen. And that's a big challenge, because technology is historically seen as a capital item, just the same as a building. And we've got to move to this as a service consume model. And the investment portfolio has to change with that. Not an easy tackle, but I think it's now understood, and there's different ways that are being worked on, developed, to try and enable that to a greater extent.
I think perhaps finally, hopefully that would actually help overcome some of these sort of other challenges the NHS has in terms of updating your Microsoft Office suite, your cybersecurity issues. If everything's kind of being managed on the provider end, then hopefully some of those issues go away.
Absolutely. That as a service is exactly the same. You look at from a cyber perspective, which is really, really key. You look at keeping your server estate up to date from a licensing perspective, from a cyber perspective. It's like painting the fourth bridge. You get to the last machine and you've got to start again.
And it's like, well,
completely. So so that's where the model of cloud computing actually takes away the pain. The way I always talk about it is saying, why don't we do the things that we can do at scale and at speed with expertise to allow you to focus and deliver the things that are more important, which is really about delivering health, health and care to the public.
Absolutely.
So that's my bandwagon of why we should be utilising the cloud.
Now, Cleveland, you'll be speaking on our integration and interoperability theatre as a representative of UK Cloud Health. What will you be presenting at HET, roughly, and what are you looking forward to coming to the event?
I always look forward to HET. Again, it's a great audience, and that's really important. The individuals that take time out to come to HET. There's a lot of shows to go to through the year, and therefore you have to be very selective. You have to go to the events that are going to give you the most information, the most knowledge, the most networks, etc. And HET's one there. It's a when you're looking at the ones that you need to go to, HET's on the list. There's no two ways about it, and that's based on what it's done in the past. It's brought the right people together. It's had the right subjects which are relevant, and therefore I'm excited, and always am excited to present at HET to that, and hopefully be part of that relevant audience and that relevant subject matter. The health tech arena is quite small, and the WhatsApp chat groups and the various are already saying, "Are you going to HET?" So everyone knows everyone's going to be there.
That's certainly what we would like to hear. Well, thank you very much, Cleveland, and I look forward to seeing you all between the 1st and 2nd of October later this year at Excel in London.